Welcome everyone to my Vista Project Showcase presentation and poster. My name is Ariel Davey and I am an AmeriCorps member serving with Campus Compact Vista at Bryant University in Smithfield, Rhode Island. My poster is titled Sustaining a Culture of Community. So to start, I wanted to go into the background of my project. So I currently work on Bryant's Center for Student Leadership and Involvement's community engagement pillar. This pillar's goal is to expand and enhance community engagement opportunities available to students while also working with recognized student organizations that have a big community engagement focus, such as Big Brother, Big Sister of Rhode Island, Special Olympics, or Habitat for Humanity. One of my other roles was to build upon the office's development of campus community partnerships and external leadership opportunities, specifically work around K through 12 success and financial literacy. The community partnerships that were developed through the VISTA project are based in areas with child poverty rates of 38%, making recruited volunteers essential to youth's academic and professional success this year. With the partnerships that we have created or have sustained this year, there was a lot of success to come academically, even though we were working through a pandemic. Um, One of those successes was the capacity building and sustainability that the LACE program offered and was given this year. The VISTA project for the year two cycle included developing and maintaining programs and events such as the LACE program that assisted in creating a culture of service, increased campus community collaborations through partnerships, and off-campus service opportunities such as the LACE program. Through all of this, we were able to build upon our tracking systems that we use for future years, which include our CL and LACE hour approval spreadsheet, which tracked main site hours and gave our site supervisors the opportunity to approve those hours. We also began to use our MAD hour spreadsheet, which stands for Meetings, Action, and Development, and that document mainly tracks those hours as part of the LACE program. And we also will be beginning to create forms on Engaged to have students enter those MAD hours onto a form so that they're not submitting summaries to an email that can eventually get lost. Um, so a few outcomes that we have from our programming and events and initiatives is output G3-3.4. We were able to work with six organizations this year in comparison to three last year. So we were able to build on that number. We were also able to formalize community partnerships through our community engagement partnership program. And so we're hoping to increase the number of partners that we have next year. From these two programs, as well as the Newman Civic Fellowship and other volunteer opportunities, we were able to recruit and manage 11 volunteers, which is also an improvement from last year. We were able to serve 83 low-income youth over the course of this year. 30 of those students are enrolling in post-secondary education or training. And for those programs overall, we had 228 service hours tracked by our community volunteers, which is a big accomplishment considering the global pandemic that is happening. So along with the LACE Fellowship Program and our Community Engagement Partnership Program, we also had different programs, events, and initiatives such as the Community Mural Project, which is pictured to the left, where students were able to highlight their service experience that was offered at Bryant to encourage other students to get involved. This will be displayed in our student center starting next year as the finishing touches will be finalized this summer. We were also able to continue our financial literacy after school workshop with NeighborWorks, where students were able to understand their FAFSA packages and how to fill out their FAFSA, as well as learning how to balance a checkbook or file their taxes. Those programs were very essential to our outcomes, and we look to improve and build upon those programmings next year. So to begin with a few challenges that I had this year, uh, communication with volunteers was very shaky at the start with some advice from other AmeriCorps members, VISTA leaders, and my supervisor. I was able to push through that and navigate how to communicate with my fellows and what would be the best way to do that, which was extremely helpful for post VISTA life. We also had some issues with recruitment as we began to advertise the LACE program as students were leaving campus for winter break. We saw the number in volunteers steadily increase as students began returning to campus late January, early February. We also wish that there were more engaging opportunities and activities for volunteers. A lot of in-person service opportunities were limited due to COVID-19. So they did engage in volunteer opportunities that were either remote or virtual, but we're hoping with less COVID restrictions next year that can increase and we can avoid Zoom burnout, as many people call it. So a few difficulties with COVID-19. To support youth, we were serving through local organizations. Like I said, we offered virtual programming, tutoring, and mentoring, among other activities. It was a challenge to engage volunteers and youth due to Zoom burnout, but with our privilege of being hybrid, we were able to navigate how to offer engaging service opportunities for interested students. One of these opportunities was LACE's alternate site hour requirement, which required students to complete service hours at a different organization than their assigned host site. Some students chose to complete hours remotely or virtually, but we also offered different opportunities in person through our community engagement partnership program and other LACE sites. A few recommendations for the VISTA project and program is to check in through COP about your VAD and your project more often. There were opportunities to ask questions and raise any concerns, but I feel like if that is paired with one-on-one meetings with a VISTA leader for the first couple months of service, it could be really helpful when a VISTA is trying to understand the project, understand the items in the sustainability binder and where to go from there. I think that could be extremely helpful for the future, as well as more training opportunities. I know I am someone who uses the AmeriCorps webinars on the Vista campus pretty frequently, and I think if we find more opportunities at campus compact institutions or any type of organization or business that offers trainings, that could be really helpful, in particular, more technology driven trainings, just with doing capacity building. Most people are familiar with direct service and they're getting used to capacity building, and a lot of capacity building work has to do with tracking and data and using that technology, and it would be extremely helpful if we knew how to navigate some of that. So to work on some sustainability items that are not included in numbers for the LACE Fellowship Program in the year 2 cycle, our team continued to create sustainability items for the LACE Fellowship Program. This includes the hour approval spreadsheet, as I had mentioned before, to track main site hours, as well as MAD hours to track meetings, action, and development hours in the LACE program. For the future, we're hoping to create some forms on Engaged for fellows to enter hours specifically for leadership development or any action hours that they have, rather than sending a summary via email where it can get lost and we need to track that um, directly. We also plan on tracking evaluations from year one and year two, as well as applications from year one and year two, see how many volunteers were recruited, how we're improving, what we can improve on. The sustainability item for the CEPP um, as our partnerships is to create engaged portals for our formalized partners. This will help other students find volunteer opportunities with our partnerships outside of the LACE Fellowship Program, or if someone's looking to get involved, they can do that without being a LACE Fellow. And to just wrap up, I wanted to share a few photos of my service experience with Bryant University and with AmeriCorps Vista. Bottom left is a picture of the tiles that we will be putting together for the community mural project. They came out really well, and I'm really excited to put them together to display in the Student Center. We also have the posters on the top middle picture that the LACE Fellows created for their LACE Fellowship experience. Other site supervisors, Bryant staff, the CSLI team, and LACE Fellows were able to see the work that everyone has done and the importance of the work that they've done. And it was a really great event to have, especially with everything with the pandemic. We were still able to accomplish a great amount of work with our organizations. Thank you all for listening to my presentation.